Now, in the earlier lecture, we saw that how is the pairing generated in the to form the Cooper pair. But apart from pairing, a very important property of the superconductor which has emerged from different experiments, the ultrasound attenuation experiment specific heat, is that there is an opening up of a gap in the single electron spectrum of the particles, of the electrons in the metal, okay, or in the material. That there are no single particle states available around the Fermi energy, or all the particles, there are no single electron states available for occupancy. So if you look at the density of states of electron in as a function of energy for the single electron, then this density of states goes as e raised to half, okay, and there are single electron states available here but in the shaded region. But if you go close to the Fermi energy, the single electron density of states are absent, and only above the Fermi energy beyond a certain point, then there are density of states which are present, and this represents the gap in the spectrum. Okay, that there are no single electron states available. That means single electrons cannot exist out here, they have to pair up. Okay, so which means that there are no electrons which can be remaining unpaired in this region. All of them will pair up, and then only you will have single electron states absent from this region. Okay, so the opening up of a gap means that no states, single electron states are possible in this region. All electrons have to be unstable towards pairing up. So this is the second condition. This is the second important condition. The first condition was that the pairing will occur only if only for particles which are within h cross omega d of the Fermi energy. Their momentas have to be within h cross omega d of the Fermi energy, or the energies have to be within the Fermi energy or by the of the order of h cross omega d, and hence also the momentum states which are around the Fermi energy can participate in this pairing process. But all these particles have to pair up. There cannot be any particle or any of the states can be left without pairing. So this is the second most important condition, second very important condition relating to superconductivity, and this gives rise to a second constraint. Okay, so let us see how we can explain this process and what is the outcome of this process. That this requirement is that there should be no single particle states available, or all the momentum states which are present between h cross omega d of the Fermi energy, all these states have to pair up. What is the requirement for this? Okay, so let us consider that the two particles ek1 and ek2 which are exchanging h cross omega d with each other, let they be such that ek1 plus ek2 is some center of mass momentum. Okay, so they have a finite center of mass. Okay, so it is not that the two particles are equal and opposite, have equal and opposite momentum, but they have a finite net momentum. Now you can argue out and you can easily see that for well below the Fermi energy, the particles will not contribute to any net center of mass momentum. Okay, if you look at the Fermi sphere, okay, let us go above to the Fermi sphere for a second. Let us go to the Fermi sphere. This position, the kx ky equal to 0 corresponds to the center of mass. Okay, and the total center of mass of the system has to be equal to 0. There can be no net center of mass momentum in the system because all the particles are moving in equal and opposite random direction, and so the total center of mass has to be 0 for the electrons, and this is where it is sitting. The sphere is centered around 0. Okay, now if there is going to be any finite momentum of the particles which are present around the Fermi energy, they will correspond to some finite center of mass momentum. So the particles which have kx and ky, so the particles which are around the Fermi energy, if their kx and ky is not equal to 0, I mean if their total momenta is not equal to 0, okay, they will contribute to some finite center of mass momentum, because the states which are well below the Fermi energy, they are not contributing to any center of mass momentum. We know that. Okay, so only the states which are around this h cross omega d, let us take their k1 and k2, will contribute to some finite center of mass momentum, and the way to represent it is the following, is that the center, this was when the momentum was equal to 0. Now this momentum has shifted, okay, and there is a shift in the center of mass momentum because there is a finite center of mass momentum which is generated. Now let us see which are the states which can contribute. Now these are all the states which are within, so earlier all the states which are within h cross omega d of the system, okay. So let us look at out of these momentum states which are within h cross omega d, namely see this dashed circular lines, okay, these are the momentum states which are within h cross omega d, and let us see out of these states how many contribute to the pairing process. Now you recall that the pairing process is, one condition is that ek minus ef is less than or equal to h cross omega d. So all these states which are present within this two dashed circles, all these states satisfy this condition that ek minus ef are within h cross omega d. But then you know that k1 plus k2 is equal to kcm. This is the second condition, because the particles which are exchanging the phonons, they have a net center of mass momentum. So only the states, so which are the states which have satisfied ek minus ef equal to h cross omega d and k1 plus k2 is equal to kcm. So the center of the sphere has now shifted to this position. Okay, you forget about this ky line. So this is the kcm, okay, this is the center of mass has now shifted, okay, and so the particles k1 k2 which satisfy this condition k1 plus k2 equal to kcm are these regions which are present here, and this yellow region which is shaded here and here, they satisfy these two conditions, because all the states which are present between the shaded portion here, they are within h cross omega d, okay, and all these particles will satisfy k1 plus k2 is equal to kcm. All these other states which are present here and here, these are the states which are outside the yellow shaded region. They don't satisfy k1 plus k2 is equal to kcm. Although they are within h cross omega d, the net center of mass of course is. So out of all the available states, these are all the available states which are within h cross omega d. All of them don't participate in pairing, but only these which are within the shaded region seem to participate. So it is only a very small fraction. If you consider that k1 plus k2 is equal to kcm, then out of all the single particle states which are available in the system, all these single particle states which are available in the system, only a very small fraction of them, which are these yellow regions, only a very small fraction of these are the ones which will participate in the pairing process, because you have to satisfy both these conditions simultaneously. K1 plus K2 is equal to Kcm, and so this certainly means that you are not making all the density of states which are available around the Fermi energy zero. Okay, it's only that there are only this very few number of states out of all these states which are present within h cross omega d. Only these yellow shaded regions are contributing to becoming paired. Okay, these are the only ones which are becoming paired, and so therefore they will not contribute to the single electron density of states. So you are losing only this small fraction from the entire states which are available. But this certainly is not consistent with making the density of states equal to 0. Namely, you are not, this above picture which will not give you this sort of a zeroing out of the density of states, because for zeroing out of the density of states, the yellow region must extend over this entire shaded region between the two red circles. Only then you can say that all the states within h cross omega d all have gone into pairing, all are involved in pairing. So none of these states can give rise to a single electron state in the density of states. Okay, now when can you get this yellow region to spread completely and cover this entire region? Okay, that is possible only if you bring these two circles together. Namely, that is only possible if you bring this circle, this black circle, closer to the other circle, and that means that you have to make the center of mass 0. Okay, you have to reduce the center of mass to 0. Only then, once these two circles overlap by making the center of mass 0, will this yellow region progressively spread over this entire region. Namely, all of these particles, all these states which are available within h cross omega d of the Fermi energy, all these states will participate in the pairing process. And hence there will be no single electron states available around the h cross omega d of the Fermi energy which can participate in the pairing process, and therefore this will give rise to the zeroing out of the density of states. So the zeroing out of the density of states will be possible only if k1 plus k2 is equal to 0. Only then will this sphere move into this sphere, and as a result this entire yellow region will spread and completely cover this entire region which is present between these two red lines. Okay, and then only then only you will get the condition that there will be no single electron states available within the h cross omega d of the Fermi energy to remain unpaired, or all of them will actually undergo a pairing. Okay, and this will give rise to zeroing of the density of states. So this is a very important condition for Cooper pairing, and this condition of Cooper pairing therefore gives rise to the condition that k1 is equal to minus k2, namely only those particles which have equal and opposite momenta exchange phonons with each other, virtual phonons with each other, and these two particles which exchange virtual phonons with each other will get paired, and by doing this all the states which are available around the Fermi energy will pair up. All these states which are within h cross omega d of the Fermi energy will pair up, and this gives rise to the condition of Cooper pairing, that Cooper pairing occurs only between particles with equal and opposite momenta. So this is a very important condition, that particles with equal and opposite momenta, if they exchange phonons with each other, virtual phonons with each other, those will pair up, and such states are available around the Fermi energy. For every particle with a momentum k, you can find another particle with minus k, and these two particles will exchange phonons with each other and undergo a pairing, and in this way all the states which are within h cross omega d of the Fermi energy, they will all get bound up, and therefore the single particle density of states in that region will be absent. There will be no unpaired electrons left out there, and so the density of states will go to 0. So basically what you have is that you have an incoming electron with momentum k, and you have another incoming electron with momentum minus k. Okay, this is an electron with momentum minus k, which exchanges a phonon, and then they scatter out with equal and opposite momenta, but in the process they get paired up. Now if you consider also the antisymmetry of the wave function of this paired electron, then you can show that from the condition of antisymmetry, that for particles which have equal and opposite momenta, the spins also have to be equal and opposite momenta. I will show you when we do the mathematics and we do the detailed BCS theory. At that point I will discuss this in more details, and will show you that not only are the momentas equal and opposite, but the spins are also equal and opposite. So the Cooper pair is actually a pair of electrons which are exchanging virtual phonons. They are between minus k and plus k. So two particles with minus k and plus k, they exchange a virtual phonon with each other, and their spins are also opposite. When they do that, they pair up, and such states which are available there, or there are states around this, they all pair up and lead to the formation of Cooper pair. So the basic mechanism is that around this h cross omega d, there are excitations which are possible. A particle which has got energy Ek, okay, and momentum k, and there is another another particle which has momentum minus k and energy which is slightly below the Fermi energy. So one of this gets excited okay, it excites a phonon. So this particle with K excites a phonon and it falls to this state with K prime. Okay, there is a vacancy here and this falls. So this green represents the electron falling to this vacant state which is present just below the Fermi energy, and it excites a phonon. This phonon is absorbed by this electron which is just present below the Fermi energy and gets excited to a vacant state which is available above the Fermi energy, and so this K minus K are exchanging a virtual phonon and going to the K prime minus K prime state. And these two pairs, and similarly there would be other pairs which you can draw around the Fermi energy, where for each K there will be a minus K, okay, and they will exchange a virtual phonon and go to K minus K prime states, and this can be shown for each and every state which is available within h cross omega d above and below the Fermi energy, and they will undergo a pairing. So the size of the energy, so the two electrons which have bound up, the two electrons which are bound have a binding energy which is of the order of this h cross omega d. This is the binding energy of the Cooper pair. They are exchanging h cross omega d, and this gives rise to the binding of the Cooper pair, and we will show this more explicitly. There are other terms, but overall the leading term is of the order of h cross omega d. This is the binding energy of the Cooper pair. And you can see that if delta is the binding energy of the Cooper pair, there is a simple argument that we can do, is that delta is of the order of kBTC. If you increase the temperature, when the thermal fluctuations becomes of the order of the binding energy, the Cooper pair will split. The Cooper pair will split. Now when that happens, you will no longer have superconductivity, right? So from this simple expression and from the above expression, it implies that Tc is proportional to the Debye frequency, and recall that the Debye frequency, which is the frequency with which the lattice ions are vibrating, that Debye frequency now you can see that kBTC, which is the energy required for splitting the Cooper pair, that would be of the order of the gap, and the gap is of the order of h cross omega d. So therefore Tc becomes of the order of omega d, which is the Debye frequency. Now the Debye frequency is the frequency with which the ions inside the lattice are vibrating. So it is of the order of square root of K by m, where K is the spring constant or the strength with which the ions in the lattice are bound together, and m is the mass of the ions. So the above expression immediately implies that Tc is proportional to 1 by square root of m, where m is the mass of the ions, and this is nothing else but the isotope effect which has been observed in superconductors, that the superconducting transition temperature depends on the mass of the ions. If the ions are lighter, they can easily distort whenever an electron passes through, and as a result it is easy to create a charge fluctuation which can bind with the next electron. So therefore a lighter ion can give rise to a strong coupling between the electrons, because they can distort the lattice easily. There can be an easy distortion of the lattice, and hence it is easy to actually bind the electrons and form the Cooper pair. If the mass is heavy, then it is very difficult for the ions to leave their position and come back whenever an electron has passed through, and as a result of which it is difficult to create the positive charge fluctuation which can pair the electrons, and so heavier the mass, smaller is the Tc. Similarly, if the bond strength is weak inside the material, the Tc can be increased, because then it is easy to distort the lattice. Okay, so this you will see in certain materials, that where if the strength of the lattice is weaker, then you will have it way easier to form the so if there is a softening of the phonon mode inside the system, basically if this K, the spring constant, becomes weaker, then it will give rise to an enhancement in the Tc of the material, because then it is easy for the ions to leave their position in the lattice and come and they don't go back so quickly also, that before the second electron comes, if they go back very quickly, that is if the restoring force is very large, then very quickly the charge fluctuation will disappear, and then the particles will not be able to pair because the electron has not seen the positive charge. It just appears and disappears. Okay, so but however, if the spring constant is weaker, if K is weaker, then of course it does not go back so quickly, and the two electrons can lead to pairing. So these are the different aspects, but one of the biggest or one of the major successes of the Cooper pair was to prove the isotope effect inside the superconductor, which is observed, the opening up of the gap in the density of states, and the calculation of the binding energy or the size of the gap. What is it related to? And it is related to the Debye frequency. So we will work out this relationship in more details. What are these additional missing terms out here? And this additional missing term, you will see, is proportional to the density of states at the Fermi energy and the pairing potential. You will see that it depends on the pairing potential and the density of states which are present out here. This is just to tell you a little bit in advance, but we will work it out when we do the BCS theory.